Alright, I'm going to be talking about a Amazon winch mount for a Sportsman 570 ATV by Polaris. This winch mount claims to be for models up to 2021. I had installed this on a 2023, which I couldn't find any information on a mount that was made specifically for that aside from the factory one. And I already had a winch, so I didn't want to have to spend another large sum of money for another winch. So we'll get right into it. Alright, there you can see the fully installed winch, and I'll go over some of the pitfalls of this particular mount, and also I'll include a link to it if you'd be interested in getting one yourself. Alright, the first pitfall was this factory brush guard that was installed. This is an EPS model, so this was a factory installed brush guard. So this particular mount doesn't really work with the brush guard. Now, if you don't have a brush guard, it'll fit right on there without too much trouble at all. But with the brush guard, you have to do a little modification, and we'll go over that in just a minute. So on the inside here, get up in this fender well. Let's see. There we go. All right, you can see there are, I hope you can see anyway, there are 2 bolts and actually 4 holes. So the brush guard mount was mounted on those front holes, and this winch mount, I had to move it back to the rearward mounting bolts on either side to make this one work. Another problem I had was is where the wire goes through the rollers there. The rollers are not wide enough. You can see on the far right side there, the square hole, that was where the wire roller was supposed to mount to this bracket, but honestly it wasn't near wide enough. So there I had to drill a new hole on that right side to accommodate this one. And then underneath that, you may or may not be able to see, but the rollers lay on top of the brush guard because there's a little bit of interference there between the brush guard and the rollers for the winch. And then lastly, and get this lighting good here, the brush guard is mounted right there on the bottom, but there were no holes there. So those holes had to be manually drilled out for the brush guard to attach to the mounting bracket. So all in all, it wasn't too incredibly difficult, but it did require a little bit of modification, as I had to drill a new hole for the rollers for the winch, and also 2 new holes for the brush guard. Again, if you don't have a factory brush guard on yours, you won't have to deal with that, but if you do, you'll have to get you some good drill bits and pop a couple holes in there, and it'll bolt right up just fine. So for, I think it was 30 bucks, not a bad deal. Saved me probably $400 and having to buy a whole new winch and bracketing system from Polaris. And I've got my Badlands 2500 all hooked up and ready to go, and it seems to work fine. So hopefully this helps somebody. And if you were on the fence on whether this would work for year 23 or not, it will, with some modifications. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one.